Today, we're going to get into a really difficult subject, but we're going to look at it through a specific lens, not just as a crime, but as a symptom of a much deeper societal failure.
The material we're looking at today starts with this line, and it forces you to think, right? Not just about the act itself, but about the quiet that comes after it. That silence, of people looking away, of a world that just keeps on moving.
So just to be clear, this isn't going to be about statistics or legal jargon. This is about something far more fundamental. It's about those moments when our empathy just shuts down, when power takes the place of connection, and when we as a society lose sight of our shared humanity.
So, let's dive into this first big idea, a failure of humanity. The argument here is that if we really want to understand this, we have to stop seeing it as just an isolated act of evil. We have to see it as a failure of our collective conscience.
Now, this is a really important distinction. It's kind of comforting to call perpetrators monsters, isn't it? It pushes evil away from us, makes it something external, someone else's problem. But the argument here is that cruelty is actually a human potential. It's enabled by all the small, everyday silences that we're all a part of. And that shifts the focus, uncomfortably, from them to us.
And that idea flows right into our next section, the collapse of conscience. Because if these acts aren't committed by monsters, then how does a person become capable of them? Well, this section traces that slow, quiet erosion of morality.
See, it's not described as a sudden snap. It's a gradual descent. It starts with dehumanization, reducing a person to an object. Then comes this toxic sense of entitlement, the idea that what you want matters more than someone else's pain. Then you justify it to yourself, that little internal whisper that makes it okay. And finally, a total indifference to another person's humanity. That's when the moral collapse is complete.
So let's be absolutely clear on this crucial point. Sexual assault is not about sex. It's not about desire. Desire, real desire, seeks connection. It respects boundaries. Assault is about dominance. It's about control. It's based on power. And its whole purpose is to completely erase the boundaries of another human being. And this is where an individual act connects to something much bigger, to culture. The source references the philosopher Hannah Arendt's idea of the banality of evil. And it's a terrifying concept. It's the idea that horrible things aren't always done by fanatics. They're done by ordinary people who just stop thinking critically, who accept cruelty as normal, and who just go along with a culture of indifference. This quote just nails it, doesn't it? Hate is an active, destructive force, for sure. But indifference? Indifference is so much more insidious. It doesn't fight you. It just erases you. It allows cruelty to exist without any consequences at all.
Okay, so we've looked at the perpetrator. Now we have to pivot to the survivor. Section 3, the survivor's reality, is all about the aftermath, an experience that goes on long, long after the assault itself. You might have heard this phrase, the body keeps the score. It's absolutely critical to understanding this. Trauma isn't just a bad memory you can file away. It's a physical state. It rewires your nervous system for danger, making the entire world feel permanently unsafe. It literally lives in your body.
And if that weren't enough, the physical trauma is so often followed by what the source calls the second assault. This is the betrayal. It's the disbelief and the blame from the very institutions and people who are supposed to protect you. And for many, this second assault is even more scarring than the first.
This second assault, it often comes disguised as questions, but they're not really questions, are they? They're accusations. Each question subtly shifts the blame. It asks the survivor to justify their own existence instead of demanding accountability from the person who caused the harm. And this question shows a deep ignorance about trauma. Our survival responses, like freezing up, are biological. They're not a choice. Asking this puts the burden of prevention on the victim, not the attacker.
So after that storm of disbelief, what's the antidote? The source boils it down to this one simple, powerful thing. Healing doesn't start with 1,000 investigations or apologies. It starts with one person, just one, who believes you.
And that single act of belief, that's where the next part begins. This brings us to our fourth section, the work of rebuilding. This isn't just about recovering. It's about actively reclaiming life, for the individual and for society.
The source pulls in this profound wisdom from Viktor Frankl. Real healing often starts with a change in perspective, moving from, why did this happen to me, to, okay, what will I do now?
It's about finding a new purpose, a new why, and turning that pain into a foundation for something meaningful.
And this work is an active process. It's about reclaiming your body, learning to feel safe in your own skin again. It's about reclaiming your story and being able to tell it without shame, reclaiming community, finding those people who will listen, and, so importantly, reclaiming joy. That is a truly revolutionary act of defiance. But rebuilding isn't just on the survivor, it's on all of us. And that means having a new conversation about what strength even means. It's about moving away from strength as control and towards strength as restraint. It's realizing that kindness is a form of power and that following your conscience is more important than protecting your ego.
And all of this leads us to our final section, which is really a call to action. It's called Choosing to Hear the Silence, and it's about our collective responsibility to finally break that silence and build a different kind of world.
The message here is simple, but it's massive. Prevention isn't just about awareness campaigns. It's about a fundamental cultural shift. If we truly want a world where assault becomes unthinkable, we can't just punish it after it happens. We have to build homes and schools and communities where empathy is so deeply woven into the fabric of life that it becomes unavoidable.
And we'll leave you with this final thought. It puts the power and the responsibility right back in our hands. The ultimate failure isn't that evil exists in the world. It's the silence of good people who could speak up. Choosing to listen, choosing to believe, and choosing to speak. That's where the world begins again.